Hello and welcome to the Silicon Plateau podcast, the show where we explore the intersection of innovation, opportunity, and the vibrant spirit of Plateau State. I'm your host for today, and my name is Tapmun Tukura. Here with me is Mr. Manji Wilson, the Chief Technical Advisor to the Governor on Development Partnerships and Diaspora Engagement. Am I right?
You're right.
You're welcome, Mr. Manji. Welcome, sir. It's good to have you here.
Pleasure is all mine.
Thank you. All right, so let's start from the beginning. When the Governor, His Excellency, called you for this role, overseeing development partnerships, technical collaborations, and diaspora engagement, what problem was he trying to solve for Plateau State?
Well, I think once again, thank you for having me on this very important podcast series.
Thank you for coming too.
I'm quite delighted that such a very important resource gathering platform it's been developed on the plateau for other people to be able to understand what the administration is doing. And I'll respond to you by saying during the campaigns, His Excellency had a vision.
Okay.
A vision for Plateau State that cuts across every sector. And during his engagements, he had engaged extensively with stakeholders across board. And part of those stakeholders were also members of the diaspora. And he had made a promise that once he gets elected into office, he's going to create, a mechanism where you can have, easy access, to not just the government of
Plateau State,
to himself, His Excellency. And within that, one of the first things he did with all the appointments, that he made, in the first weeks in office was to engage me to take on that very humble task of coordinating the engagements with development partners and also our people in the diaspora. So when I say our people, I mean Nigerians in diaspora. Because what we have also seen is that we've been able to get in touch with so many Nigerians out there, over time, that have an interest somewhere, either born in Jos or Jos or schooled in Jos or had something to do with Jos. So it's not an initiative that just thought about only Plateau indigenes abroad. So His Excellency thought we could harness, the important resources out there and bring in meaningful development for Plateau State. But in essence, what he thought about was how to be able to ensure that we leverage, partnerships that could help us both locally and globally. We needed that platform, and he thought, we could work together to drive that process.
Okay, thank you. I think that's really interesting. And then another question I want to ask, I'm really curious, for someone probably listening in a hub or a student in book course, how would you describe your mandate in one sentence? Like, what are you optimizing in Plateau State for the future?
This is what I think I was trying to say, that we are looking at how we can leverage opportunities. Create opportunities by attracting partnerships, both locally and internationally, for the benefit of Plateau State. So in one sentence, I would say, how do we bring about and expand opportunities for Plateau people, to be able to become superstars, if I want to say, within Nigeria and also out of Nigeria, as it were.
Okay. So I think that will lead me to my next question, because you've literally answered two questions in one, I would say. But I would like you to paint us a picture of a good day in your office. What do you do in your office? Who do you entertain? What are the conversations you...
Interesting.
Do you talk to
because I
tech partners?
What my typical day is at the office. But I'll tell you, because I work across time zones.
I
don't just work, with people here locally. I work with people in America that are 6, 7, 8, 9 hours, 10 hours behind, because America has 5 different time zones. I work with people in Europe. I work with people in Asia. So people call from China, from Japan. I work with people from the Middle East, from Doha, besides now Nigerians.
Yeah.
And also development partners
in Nigeria.
So you work with people in Europe at the same time. So I'm working across time zones. A typical day would be from either attending a physical meeting in the office, or a virtual meeting, and I have several of those. I attend lots of virtual meetings.
I mean, your calendar is choked up.
It's sometimes I can't keep up,
I can imagine.
But we have so many meetings, so many calls, across board, and so many people, just picking up an interest on Plateau State. You would sit back and there are so many inquiries coming.
Exactly.
People that have looked up Plateau for one reason or another. Putting up calls to say, look, we are thinking of this with Plateau State. How do we go about it? Or I'm meeting with some development partners where we are thinking through projects and programs for the state, whether existing or new projects, and we are looking at the details, designing these programs and initiatives. I'm discussing with our innovators and young people who are sharing ideas to say, look, we have this innovation, we have this idea, and we're looking for support. Because I also have to understand what the needs are on the ground. So I have to discuss with our people, our young people, our tech talents, our innovators, to understand what their needs are. So at the moment, I am in other rooms where discussions are being held on how to be able to tap into local opportunities. I can make that connection. So I'm basically more like a connector, connecting opportunities to resources, creating access for all of their goals.
So I would say you're building bridges between Plateau States and...
Absolutely. That is what we're doing. We're trying to ensure that we are building bridges across board, from Plateau State, to the US, to Canada, to China, and to other parts of the world. Wherever opportunities exist, we try to create that linkage. That's what we're trying to do.
Sending money home without losing half to fees.
Paying my bills before the deadline every time.
Investing in my future and not just surviving today.
Having a backup when emergency hits.
One app that just works.
Thousands of people are already on the wait list.
Liquify.
Build for us, build by us. Your spot is waiting.
Talking about technical partnerships. And then, people hear about partnerships and might think of MOUs and ceremonies. But what does that actually mean to you?
Well, there are steps to partnerships. First off, you have different levels of engagement. So what we've done is we realized that before coming on board, again, there was no structured mechanism, as such, that His Excellency created. And we wanted to be able to have a structure. And we have that structure now established. Once we begin to engage with potential partners, certainly there has to be a declaration of intent, and this is what many people call MOUs, or either EOIs, expression of interest, or memorandum
of understanding.
It's just a broad framework where you identify, what you want to do as partners. To say, together we're in this space. Let's take, for instance, the tech ecosystem, or agriculture, or any of the, or education. We say, okay, we want to achieve A, B, C. We want to develop smart schools. We want to deliver, on the tools for smart schools. We want to deliver on trainings for teachers. These are the broad way. But how do you get to do that? Then you go into broader agreements. Deeper. But first off, there has to be a declaration of intent. And this is what MOUs are. So when people raise questions around, it's MOUs. MOUs are not just paperwork.
Exactly.
You have to clearly specify so that you have otherwise you have extensive conversations without, the border.
It has to be physically operational.
It has to also be defined.
Exactly.
You need to define the scope at which you operate. And that's what an MOU does for you.
The
agreements now go into deeper details as to how you intend to achieve those objectives, as it were. So this is the reason why you look at it. And once you are able to detail that, you now identify the resources that you need and then go into implementation. So you can't jump into implementation without defining the scope of what you want to do. What are your objectives? What are your outcomes? What do you intend to see? And what would be ideally a sustainability framework for that project? So this is why when you talk about MOUs, this is what they stand for. They are indicative,
exactly,
but they are very important.
Very important.
Yeah.
Okay. So my next question is, Plateau is building out hubs. Can you walk us through a concrete example where a technical or development partner came in and changed what was possible for our innovators on ground?
We have a few initiatives and objectives that are initiatives and projects that are in the pipeline, and some that are quite at an advanced stage. And one of the most significant initiative I'll mention is our collaboration with the United Nations Development Program, the UNDP, where we are setting up as part of the Uniport that the UNDP is working on in Nigeria. We are setting up an agro innovation hub known as a makerspace at the Plateau State Polytechnic in Barking Ladi. This is quite important for us because Plateau State sits at the intersection of agro-industrialization for Nigeria. We know the potential of Plateau State when it comes to agriculture. And we thought, within the discussions and technical engagements with the UNDP, that to align the program with the potential of Plateau State and also with the vision of His Excellency. When His Excellency contested for office, his mandate and mantra was the land is green. Green standing for regeneration, green standing for agricultural development, green standing for renewable energy and all of that. But most importantly, agro-industrialization sits as one of the major economic pillars that we have, because we have three economic pillars largely in Plateau State: agriculture, tourism, and mining. So we thought that it was important to ensure that this technology hub that we're trying to create, focuses on one solution. And we discussed and decided that we want to make it an agro-tech hub that would develop precision solutions on precision agriculture. We could look at hydroponic systems and how young people can bring up solutions that would help accelerate, the mechanization process.
Interesting.
Because there are smart ways of farming.
To go about it,
So that young people don't think that farming is all about and
it's not hard work, it's smart work.
Now it's about how you can work smart, how you can leverage even artificial intelligence, because we have a lot of extension services now. AI is being utilized globally to provide services, extension services to farmers. How do we ensure that we even irrigate our land with drones? Drones are being utilized now, so you don't have to have a young man going to the farm utilizing, pipes and, so this is what we decided. We thought we could be able to use that, because what will that do? That will quadruple our yield when it comes to farming. We would maximize our effort, minimal effort, but maximum output. This is the whole idea. And this is what the Agro Innovation Makerspace, which we are jointly setting up with the UNDP, is bringing to life. The equipment are all on board. The center is already established. Just some final works in terms of palliative separation, designs and all that will bring the place alive. And His Excellency is due to launch it later this year. So it's one of the very practical, solutions that we've worked on, and we are hoping that will come alive. The second solution is a business process outsourcing center, which we have also advanced, quite critically. And in the next few weeks, a lot of young people right here from Jos will be working for companies in the US, in Europe, in Asia, and different parts of the world. We have decided to set up the workspace. We're providing computers, internet service. Is going to be a 24-hour center. We will have, of course, call centers, but beyond that, we are having professionals, accountants, lawyers, and nurses working from Nigeria and providing outsourcing services abroad. This is what we're doing with His Excellency. We're hoping in the first phase to have at least about 2,400 youths in shifts of 800, because it's an 800 capacity center that we're establishing. We are hoping that in the next few months and within 2 years, we should scale up to about 10,000 jobs for young people here on the plateau. And we are determined to pursue that. And hopefully, like I did say, in the next few weeks, you'll be seeing that program rolled out. The calls have been made. We've received over 5,000 entries as we speak of young people just awaiting to be interviewed and trained to take over this center as we've established it. So these are very two concrete, partnerships that we're having with development partners. For that, we're working with MTN Nigeria and Outsource Global a renowned, outsourcing
Outsourcing company.
here in Nigeria to ensure that this project comes alive.
Oh, okay. I think you're on point because, it was taking me to the next two questions I was about to ask you, but you're 10 steps ahead of me. So I'm grateful I'm having these beautiful answers from you. So you're trying to tell me that they're filling in the gap with job opportunities for youth and literally encouraging youth to do better because your knowledge is what is going to sell you.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day.
Absolutely.
So they say every big partnership story sounds exciting, but let's tie it to the hard numbers. How do you see technical partnerships helping Plateau move closer to big audience?
Yeah, so this is what I just
mentioned
the
now, targets.
Because again, with the agro innovation maker space, what we're trying to do is to incubate a lot of solutions. We want to incubate the ideas of these young people.
Yeah.
Accelerate them, provide support, technical support for them, and ensure that they do not just remain, local ideas within Plateau State.
Yeah.
But now what we'll do is that within that space, we're going to connect them to global opportunities and global partners. Numbers, they would have access to support, technical services, technical support, but also access to funding. Because what we want to do is that we want to ensure that by the end of this tenure, and hopefully, as we continue to work and sustain this program, a lot of solutions and ideas on innovation from Plateau State will access global and attract global funding. That is bringing in FDI for the state in hard numbers. So it depends on how we work with our young people, but we believe that the Plateau State has a lot of young people. It has a modern tech ecosystem that can be, harnessed. And of course, I gave you a practical number with the business process outsourcing center. We already said it's an 800 seating capacity center.
Wow.
Working in 3 shifts.
That's huge.
So, and it's going to be running 24 hours. So that's 2,400 people at a go.
So there's work.
And this is BPO
every hour
1.0.
Oh, wow.
And we are hoping to go to BPO 2.0. We are already discussing with the partners to scale that up in a large scale.
Wow.
Because we believe that this is what happens in India and the Philippines. Philippines, the BPO is a $60 billion industry.
You hardly find young jobless people around.
No, absolutely. So we are hoping that in Plateau State here, the young people have unique potentials, ideas beyond other young people across Nigeria. We've run a test. We had a sample size of about 50. Our technical partners had informed us that the retention percentage of these young people with these talents is about 40%. They got to Plateau, they got to about 80% within that 50 sample space that we gave them.
Yeah.
So I am certain that by the time we have a lot of these entries from our young people, we'll be able to retain a higher percentage and see what we can do when it comes to this particular project.
Okay, that's nice. Really interesting to hear the numbers and the big deals coming in for Plateau people, the young people, the youth. Okay, so let's make it very practical. If a Plateau professional or friend of Plateau in diaspora is listening right now and is excited, what are the 3 realistic ways they can engage with your office in the next 12 months?
Well, what we've always done, like I said, on a daily basis, I speak to people from diaspora every single day. So whether they are of Plateau origin, or they are Nigerians, or they are even non-Nigerians. It's a surprise to know that I think the clerk of the House of Lords in the UK lived and schooled in Jos. So when we met in the UK, he reminded us that he's a Josite.
Oh, nice.
And we meet with so many Nigerians out there. Yorubas, Igbos, different people. They'll tell you we lived in Jos. And how do we connect? We connect simple. My email is out there. My phone number is out there. My name, wilsonmanji@gmail.com or manji.wilson@plateaustate.gov.ng. Or you reach me on my direct mobile number, and I'm sure you would show that on the screen so that they can be able to see.
Oh yeah, we'll do that.
And also the phone number. And I'm reached on WhatsApp all the time. So my line, I always tell people, don't even think of calling me on a normal call. Just call on WhatsApp. Wherever I am in the world, I'm available to respond. Send a message on WhatsApp, and I get you a feedback, as it is. And what I do is, irrespective of the sector that you're trying to reach, once you reach to me, I connect you to the right MDA, the right ministry, department,
the right sectors.
I am in touch with all of the commissioners, all of the DGs, and most of the permanent secretaries, and whoever it is, executive secretaries, whatever solution you're trying to bring for us here on the plateau, we'll make the linkage for you and ensure that we'll also follow up and ensure that you don't have any issue when it comes to execution.
Okay, one thing that keeps coming in this conversation is that vision is not enough. Vision is not enough. You need policy, you need structure, and stability, sustainability. So how does your office coordinate with agencies for this?
So, I keep going ahead, I think. But what I do is, on a daily basis, of course, I have a inventory of all the MDAs. I liaise with the Secretary to Government as well, who coordinates, the work of the state, and ensure that if there is any requirement for us to speak with any of the agencies, we see what to do. The Attorney General's office has been quite, useful and relevant in all of the agreements we've signed. So whenever there is an MOU, for instance, that you mentioned earlier, I send it to the Ministry of Justice for review. They come back to us with questions, clarifications, or even, a reviewed document. So we share with our partners, and upon agreement, we get to sign, and like I said, when there are EOIs, there's a need to be able to go deeper into these expressions of interest. These are technical conversations. So we reach out to the line ministry that is responsible. We go through the document together with the partner, ensure that it gets to a point where there is something to implement before we draw the attention of the higher authority or His Excellency as needed. So we ensure that there is a line of, of review, a line of due diligence being made. We look at the projects quite critically and ensure that they meet certain thresholds. That is done consistently with each of the MDAs. Of course, in terms of policy framework, I think one of the things we've been trying to do to push partnerships is to ensure that the policy environment is quite enabling. We are reviewing our public-private partnership, law. We are hoping that it will be a bit more robust than what we met on ground. We want to ensure that that framework guarantees or gives some form of comfort to our partners, our investors, across the world, whether locally or globally. And ensures that they are sort of insulated from any administrative bottleneck. So we are working on that, and I think in no distant future, that law is going to be passed to enable, to ensure that the space is quite enabling and the business environment is quite friendly to all our friends and partners out there.
Tired of juggling multiple apps for your money? Meet Liquify, your all-in-one financial companion. Access loans at the most competitive interest rate to handle emergency. Spend globally using our virtual card service on all your favorite platforms. We let your money go borderless using stablecoin cryptocurrency to access global markets. We provide safe investment options backed by government financial instruments designed for long-term wealth creation. Easily spend your stablecoin on everyday needs like airtime, data, and bill payments, all in one secure app. Liquify, money that moves with you, coming soon. Join the waitlist at liquify.com.
Okay, so there is always tension between symbolism and substance. So for me, how do you guard against partnerships that are just photo opportunities and you put priorities on the real and solid institutions coming in for you?
That when you have no idea how many meetings I have in a day, and how many proposals I have to filter, and I don't make mention of that, and again, this fits your question of symbolism and substance. There are certain people that will come to you with so many ideas to say, we want to do this. I have met people that have said, we want to bring capital to Plateau State. We are going to raise this amount of money for Plateau. I said, okay, that's fine. We're looking for partners that could also bring in funds for infrastructure and other needs that we have as a state. But the moment you get into those discussions, you now realize that there is a catch.
Exactly.
You know, so there's always, you know, like they say, hidden terms and conditions. You know, you ask them, is there any hidden condition, hidden terms? They're like, oh, no. But eventually you decide. Yeah. So we've had to filter that. We go through that, you know, often, you know, and only those that we see as, you know, being quite, you know, prospective and there is a future in there are the ones that we take out there and begin to, you know, put out there for the public to see, you know, what we're doing. But there is so much that we've had to do behind the scenes, so much heavy lifting that nobody sees out there. Because at the end, upon due diligence, we realize that there is no substance, you know, to such, you know, expressions of interest, you know, and they wouldn't be quite good for the state. When you look at what we're talking about in terms of the tech ecosystem as well, we've had so many people feed in so many ideas around coming up to set up, you know, processes and projects. But you say I gave you 2 solid examples.
Yes.
Another example I'll give you is, for instance, when the Minister for Innovation and Digital Economy, Dr. Bosu, came to Jos, we've had extensive conversation. Now he's supporting the state with fiber digital connectivity. And hopefully in the next, again, couple of weeks and months, you'll be seeing that, you know, the internet connectivity on the plateau is second to none, because these conversations with the minister and, you know, the ministry has gotten His Excellency Governor Caleb to issue a waiver on the right of way, you know, for partners that are quite serious working with Plateau State. Once you come in, there could be discussions on seeing how to ensure that there's an easy flow. So it's just about, you know, the due diligence. That's the way we filter it. We take up the documents, we see the history behind what they've done in time past. We try to see if they've been in other climes, you know, what is the pedigree of such institutions. We look at the pedigree of the institutions, look at the pedigree of the management of such institutions, and upon the structures and all they have, we are able to determine and ascertain that this is something we can move forward with and see how we can continue to interact with. Or this, we have to just keep in the parking lot until we have more, you know, stamina to engage there.
You know, they say your imagination takes you so far. So, Mr. Manji, I would like you to look a few years into the future, and when you imagine Plateau State in the next 5 years, what picture do you have in mind with the strategies and the partnerships that worked?
I wouldn't go broad, and I want to stick to our Silicon Plateau project because I think it's quite important, and I don't think I spoke a lot about it today. In the next, you know, 2 to 5 years, like you mentioned, I told you I'm looking at a situation where we have created, you know, platforms for especially our young people to leverage opportunities that are available nationally and globally. This is what we're doing with our business process outsourcing, you know, center project. I'm hoping that within the next 2 to 5 years, we would have exhaustively concluded BPO 1.0 and BPO 2.0 and be looking towards, you know, the future where we are setting up a tech district, you know, for incubating all of our tech initiatives. I'm hoping that within the next 2 to 5 years, we would have had at least 10,000 young people situated in jobs across the world, working right from Plateau here. So we are creating access for them. I'm looking at the situation, thirdly, in the next 2 to 5 years, where our innovators are able to connect with their counterparts and peers in other parts of the world. But not just that, but that their solutions become real-life solutions, you know, and they're able to scale, you know, access funding, and become unicorns. Because today you can talk about the unicorns in Lagos, you know, and the Andelas and all the rest that are Flutterwave and all of that. I want to see a situation where a lot of ideation has been undergone in Plateau State. And these ideas are no longer ideas, they become solutions.
Implemented.
Solutions that will meet the daily needs of people, you know, not just in Nigeria, but across the world.
I mean, that will meet innovation, just like this.
Absolutely. We want to see how we can catalyze the innovation ecosystem towards accelerated growth for, you know, these projects and solutions and for the young people.
Okay. So finally, if you had to compress everything we've discussed about today in one line or in one sentence, define Silicon Plateau from the lens of partnership and diaspora, what would you say? What would the line be?
I would say Silicon Plateau is that elevated space that Governor Caleb is incubating, designing, and is implementing to tap and harness the potentials of the young people of Plateau State, young innovators, and the tech community, and ensuring that they receive all the requisite support of government to become scalable solutions and to compete with any other solution anywhere in the world. This is what I see Silicon Plateau as. I see it as the future, of the young people, and where young people no longer on the plateau are no longer seen as mere numbers, but they are seen as solution providers to our daily problems, leveraging tech, leveraging artificial intelligence, and harnessing all that the plateau has to offer in terms of advantage, as it were.
All right. So thank you so much, Mr. Manji Wilson, for joining us today on Silicon Plateau. And thank you for the beautiful work you're doing, building bridges, connecting Plateau people to diaspora people, connecting Plateau people to the rest of the world. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you too.
God bless you, and see you in the next episode.
See you soon.
We get to see you again or anytime.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. I'm Tapmoon, and this is the Silicon Plateau podcast. Until next time, keep building.